it racist to criticise the Palestinians as the world's most tiresome crybabies with a bogus cause and a plight that's entirely self-inflicted? I bet it is. I wouldn't be surprised if it was against the law in certain European countries, but I'm going to do it anyway because somebody has to. And I realise I'll probably lose a few friends with this video, but that's okay. Friends like that I can do without. All any of us can do is to tell the truth as we see it. I mean, as we actually see it, and not as we think we're supposed to see it. The worst thing you can do is to see the truth and to tell a lie, and I see the Palestinian cause as a lie. A lie designed to exploit Western liberal guilt, like the lie of Islamophobia and the lie of the mythical religion of peace that nobody has ever seen in action. I used to be a lot more critical of Israel, and I used to believe there was a fairly simple two-state solution because I used to believe the Arabs were acting in good faith. I still want to believe that, but the evidence tells me I'd be a fool to believe it. Because I've seen that every concession Israel makes is met with more demands and more excuses not to negotiate. They could have had peace 10 times over if they wanted it, but they don't want peace, they want victory, and they won't be happy till Israel is wiped from the map. A member of Fatah's Central Committee said as much on television recently, but as he said, they keep that to themselves and tell the rest of the world a different story. And as part of that story, the bogus claim for Palestinian statehood is currently passing through the United Nations, and we're all waiting to see what plops out the other end. Not that it really matters, because despite what the Palestinian public relations industry, i.e. the Western media, might tell you, this is not about territory, and it certainly isn't about justice or human rights, because Arab societies don't know the meaning of those words. It's about Jew hatred as mandated by the Quran and as preached in the mosques and taught to the children in Arab countries day in and day out, generation after poisoned generation. The Arabs don't hate Jews because of Israel, they hate Israel because of Jews. The situation in the West Bank and Gaza exists because 45 years ago, several Arab countries attacked Israel unprovoked with overwhelming odds because it was a Jewish state. If it hadn't been a Jewish state, they wouldn't have attacked it. And they attacked with the intention of wiping it from the map and of committing genocide. But they failed because the Jews had a bit more steel in their blood than the Arabs had bargained for. And who could be surprised after what they'd been through, and after seeing how the rest of the world had responded to their plight? Large numbers of Jews could have escaped the Nazis if they'd had somewhere else to go, but other countries wouldn't let them in. The Mufti of Jerusalem at the time was a friend of Hitler's, and, good Muslim that he was, he approved of the final solution and had plans for his own Holocaust in the Middle East once the Nazis had won the war. So who can blame the Israelis today for defending themselves as if they mean it, when they know they're dealing with people they know they can't trust and who they know hate them enough to want to exterminate them as a people? Anybody else in their situation would behave the same way. I know I would, and I wouldn't apologise for it. Israel is surrounded by enemies. Peace is more in their interest than in anyone else's, which is why they keep making concessions. But it's not in the interest of the Palestinian leadership. Peace is the last thing they want. They need to keep the pot boiling. They need to keep their people angry and resentful and hating Jews. Peace would ruin everything because they won't be happy until Israel is wiped from the map and the Jews have been driven into the sea. If they really believe that's going to happen, they're insane. And if they don't really believe it, they're even more insane, wouldn't you say? And all you good-hearted Western liberals who keep banging the drum for the poor Palestinians, I sympathise with you because you're doing it for the right reason. But you're being used and exploited, just as the people in the West Bank and Gaza are being exploited by people who have no intention of negotiating peace because they're driven primarily by crude, irrational religious hatred. When you protest for Palestine, you know you'll be in the company of people calling for Jews to be gassed. Do you think that's an accident? You're dealing with something here beyond politics and beyond reason, something truly ugly that drives a spike through all your cosy left-right assumptions, and your naivety is helping to stoke it like bellows to a fire. The world needs to stop pretending that Palestine is about justice and human rights and have the moral courage to call this thing what it is, to put a stop to this charade, this endless dance around a non-existent negotiating table. We need to do the Arabs a huge favour and tell them the truth they so badly need to hear, that their hatred is the cause of their misery. They've become prisoners of it. It has come to define their very identity. And until they can find a way to remove this ugly stain from from their hearts. They'll always be chained to it, and they and their children will never be free, Arab Spring or no Arab Spring. Peace. How many wasted generations of hate do you think it'll take?